I love when these men think I'm being for real on Hinge. Babe, I'm not here to conversate. This is for my validation only. I don't care that you have a dog. I don't care that you traveled out of the country last summer. Like, we're on a time crunch, babe. Swipe right, tell me I'm pretty, and keep it moving.
Absolutely disgusting. Why do women do this? Because they can. Why do they act obnoxious, entitled, use men for their own narcissistic gratification? Because they can. What, you disagree with me? You think women can't act this way? Well, you tell me, what consequence do you imagine she's going to face? She's using men for validation and then just discarding them like they're not worthy of human dignity. Okay. Awful behavior, but what consequence do you imagine she's going to be facing for that? From where I'm sitting, none. There's going to be no repercussions. Women treat men this way because they can.
Do you ever use guys to get drinks?
Yes.
Really? You don't think that's cruel? You're wasting their money?
If they're smart, they won't fall for it. But
They're dumb.
they're dumb.
Come on.
Yeah.
Again, it's totally disgraceful, like the contempt she has for those dumb men who, what's their crime there? Being dumb enough to think that she's a decent person, that they like her, that they might hope that she might like them back? The dumbness of those men. Of course I can exploit them for their money and use them for drinks. Does she feel shame? Does she feel bad for them? No. Why would she feel ashamed when nobody has ever shamed her? Why do modern women act this way? Again, because they can. You're free to disagree, but please be specific. What consequence do you imagine women are facing for acting this way? I know that there exists this male fantasy online that collectively across the West, men are going to be done with this bullshit. Just say, no, until you start treating us better, we're done. We're out of the dating market. We're not dating women anymore. We're going to stop getting married. We're going to, find wives from other countries. And when there's no more men left, that's when you're going to know that you pushed us too far. Then you'll be sorry. Then you'll feel regret. You'll stop the sexism. You'll come back to your femininity. Then you're going to start treating men, well again. I don't see it happening. I think it's just a revenge fantasy that men use to cope. It's not realistic because the human drive to not be lonely combined with the male sexual drive is a deadly combination, and men are always going to pursue women no matter how awful the circumstances. There's going to be a bunch of guys who will be willing to accept awful treatment from women, get in relationships with women who have awful personalities because they would rather that than be alone. The most abundant resource in the Western world is thirsty men. So you exit the dating market as some kind of protest? Sorry to say, no one's going to notice. Now, I actually do predict that there's going to be a slight value shift back towards more traditional gender norms in the future. I think this sort of shameless experiment has somewhat run its course and a lot of people are waking up to reality. But I also predict that women who are at their sexual market value peak, their early to mid 20s, are going to be the last demographic of women to actually come to their senses. They're going to be the last ones to give up their entitlement and their sexism. Why? Because they face the least accountability for their actions. They are the ones who are at the top of the dating market. All the men want to be with them. If you're a 24-year-old woman, you're not just attracting attention from 24-year-old men, but you're attracting men from their 20s, their 30s, even their 40s. All of those men have zeroed in on her. She is the one that they want to be with because she's at that peak age that men find desirable. When you are experiencing that kind of power, that kind of abundance, that's when you feel safe to throw your weight around, to be a bit obnoxious, to be a bit entitled, and know that you're not going to face any consequences. You've got so many men after you, you've got so many options that you can act entitled, you can burn bridges, and you're barely going to notice. You can treat men terribly, use them for validation, scam them out of free drinks, and if they get upset and pissed off at you, who cares? You can just replace them with another man. These women never face real consequences because there's always going to be more men. That's why I said at the start of this video, why do women act this way? Because they can.
He's just like a man.
You just seem very misogynistic, realistically.
Yeah.
What is misogyny? Why are you using words that you don't even know the definition of?
No, that's not what I meant.
I think you are misogynistic though.
But what does misogynistic mean though? Just so I know what you're calling me.
Okay, so the reason I said it is just, again, based on the
Okay, calling somebody misogynistic to their face is a pretty big deal. It's highly insulting. To be misogynistic means to hate or have a strong preference against women. There, ladies, I helped you out with the definition. Now, to call somebody that, to tell them to their face that they're an awful, hateful person is highly provocative. But does it seem in this clip like these women are remotely concerned about his reaction? Does it seem like they have any fear of consequences? No. Why would she be worried about this one man? She can call him names, she can throw words around. If he gets upset, what does she care? She can open up her Tinder profile, there's 100 matches. She can go to her Instagram DMs and get 3 dates tomorrow. She can go to the club and get 100 simps offering to buy her a drink. She knows there are not going to be any consequences for her behavior. She can act terribly, treat men terribly, and there's always going to be more men. There's a direct link between this obnoxious, entitled attitude that young women have and the lack of accountability from our culture. And this is not limited to single women either. Lots of women inside their relationships treat their boyfriends like garbage. Why? Because they know he's easily replaced.
Sorry, man, if you cannot understand that your girl is going to be wearing whatever the fuck she wants, you are the problem, not her.
She her own woman, you know what I mean? She can do whatever she wants.
Let's say she has on the hoochie shorts and her cheeks are hanging out and you told her to change. Would that be a problem?
That would never happen.
It wouldn't be. If she's comfortable in it, then I'm comfortable, you know what I mean?
Man, if you guys have a problem with your girl dressing in hoochie shorts and a short tank top, that's a personal problem.
If you got a problem with it, you got trust issues. I'm sorry.
She's her own woman. She can do what she wants. No, she's not her own woman. She's your girlfriend. Don't act like you don't know the difference. It is so nauseating watching these virtue signaling men act like they're above it all. Like they're so enlightened because they don't have a problem with their girlfriends dressing all slutty. I'm secure. I don't have trust issues. So yeah, you go flirt with other men. Do whatever you want. You're your own woman. Dude, cut the shit. We all know what's happening. She has a higher sexual market value than you do. You are easily replaced and she's not. She's a woman in her 20s, swimming in attention. She has options. You're just another simp. You don't like how she behaves or how she dresses, but what are you going to do? You're going to impose some consequences, start laying down some boundaries, some standards? Then she's going to replace you. Her attitude has already made that clear. So you have to accept the terms that she's offering. Beggars can't be choosers.
So honest question, right? If she gave you a guilt-free pass to sleep with anybody in the world, would you take it?
I don't really follow any like models or celebrities. That's not really my type, so probably no.
How about you?
Okay, like Aaron Judge.
I mean, I get
I
that.
love Aaron Judge.
What do you love about him?
Oh my god, he's 6'8". He plays for the New York Yankees.
What the hell is wrong with everybody? Imagine that you're doing an interview with your girlfriend and she's sharing with the world the man that she'd like to cheat on you with, talking about how much she sexually desires this other man. He's so tall, he's so hot. The disrespect. Does she seem worried about his reaction? Is she nervous about the consequences that she's going to be facing? No, they both know that he's replaceable. She's not. He has to tolerate it. He's lucky to be with her.
Okay.
Would you cheat for $1,000?
Yeah. I think he would understand.
I'm going to play that clip again because watch his expression when she reveals how low quality a woman she is. Like, just watch the image that he has of women as these virtuous moral creatures just break in front of him. That's what so many of these interviews show, is that men are just continuously shocked at just how immoral women are. It's a short clip. I'll play it again. Watch his face.
Okay.
Would you cheat for $1,000?
Yeah. I think he would understand.
When I see these clips, I'm reminded of the wisdom that you can know the quality of a person based on how they treat their inferiors. Like, you know he's a good boss if he treats all of his employees really well with dignity and respect. Now, by all reasonable measures, women in their 20s have the upper hand in the dating market. They're the privileged ones, they're the powerful ones. They are the ones that are sought after, they're in demand. But it speaks volumes to the character of a woman what she chooses to do with all of that power. Is she graceful? Is she dignified? Does she show respect? Does she show empathy and compassion and kindness? Or does she look at her position of power, realize that she's going to face very few consequences, and then choose to act with as much obnoxiousness and entitlement as she thinks that she can get away with? Does she throw her weight around and rub her power in the faces of everybody less fortunate? Does she dress slutty in public and flirt with other men and embarrass her boyfriend? Does she scam men for free drinks? Does she use men for validation on dating apps? Does she make it known how easy it would be for her to cheat on her boyfriend? It's so sad. You see, people can look at power in different ways, okay? Like think of a man who's the head of a household. It's like a traditional marriage, a traditional family. Like he has the power. It's like patriarchal. Now he can look at that power and think, all right, I'm in charge here. How can I exploit my wife and children and use them to make myself happy? Use my power so that I don't have to do any work. I don't have to sacrifice anything. They all just serve me. Yeah, that's one way you can use your power. That's toxic masculinity. Or he can look at his position of power with grace and humility and think, okay, this is a big responsibility. How can I use this power to serve the people who I love and make their lives better? That's positive masculinity, when you adopt leadership for the benefit of other people. And so for a woman who's at the top of the dating market, she has the power. She's the one in demand. She faces that same choice. Okay, you've got the power. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to display toxic femininity where you're selfish and exploitative and see how much you can get away with? Or are you going to display positive femininity where you're graceful and kind, where you don't act terribly, because even though you're not going to face consequences for your behavior, you know it's not the right thing to do. You don't want to abuse your privilege in that way. It's the ultimate, just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do that. And this is why I have no hesitation labeling women who abuse their power in this way and treat men like garbage as low quality women. Stay away from them. Do not date them. Certainly don't commit to them. A high quality woman doesn't narcissistically revel in her own power and use the dating market for her own validation. She uses her position at the top of the dating market to cash out, to get out of dating, to find a quality man who's going to treat her right, to pair bond with him, start a life, create a family. She's smart. She knows that her time at the top is not going to last, and that whatever pellets of happiness can be extracted from Tinder by feeding your ego, they're never going to compare to the long-term happiness you can get in a pair bonded relationship with beautiful children. And some women will object to that. They say, well, why would I want to give up my power? And I think you have such a superficial understanding of what true power is. The ability to exploit men is not true power. You want to know the source of a woman's actual power? Well, I explain what that is in the full-length version of this video, which is available on Patreon. Here on YouTube, I just released like a shortened, abridged versions of my videos, but you know, they're for free. I hope you enjoy them. But if you want the real stuff, you want it all going in depth, you got to come over to Patreon. Come over there and you're going to hear a proper explanation about what actual feminine power looks like.